Hello, everybody, and happy Friday. And today, Jenny from the Love Seat would like to reintroduce you to Sunny, relationship expert and coach. And today, we're going to be answering a few questions kind of related to this time, some things that we maybe could help you through, some common questions that we came across. And I want to start with a question I got in my women's group yesterday. And that's, how do we bring in love? And she did emphasize true love. So Sunny, you being the expert, do you want to maybe let us know what you think about that?
Oh, yes. I was just doing a watch party with this. But okay, how do we bring in true love?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the key is actually in the word true, right? What I'm finding so much within the single scene is that we're not actually demonstrating our trueness, our fullness. So what we're doing is, I see you on Tinder and I'm like, whoa, she looks good. Yeah. Jenny likes hiking. Oh, guess what? I like hiking as well. Oh, you like meditation. Oh, you like Tony Robbins. Oh, so do I. Yeah. We do this matching, this mirror matching, right? And it gets us to a really good level of connection for the short term. But the emphasis in the question of true love is, first, we're going to be true to ourselves. That means that we're going to be true to our highest values, our highest needs. So now, if I'm on the dating scene, and this is what I advise a lot of my clients, if your top value is connection, certainty, like you enjoy the 9 to 5, you enjoy doing the same thing every day, perfect. You enjoy that habitual habits of going to the gym, working out the same thing, that's great. You want to meet somebody that has that, because then we can find a long-term relationship.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you see what I mean?
Interesting. So my question to you to further this question is, so, you know, like the love language, like say mine's physical touch. Do you know, like, are you supposed to match the other person's?
Oh, good question. I get that so much. And I actually say you don't need to. That's my personal opinion on it. My truth is that we don't need to, because when we understand our partner's love language, it's like having the keys to unlocking who they are. And if we matched on every single thing, it's going to be hard. We're going to find our twin and, polarity.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. That was screaming at me.
Right? And if we don't have any differences, then we're not going to be excited. We're going to be marrying our sister and brothers, like, and we don't want that to happen, all right? So when we have it, the key thing with doing the love languages, and I'd love to know yours as well, is when we learn our love language of our partner, it's like going, oh, I know how to make you happy. I know what's going to demonstrate love to you. And with a lot of my married couples, that's exactly what we do. They go, oh, we don't match on our love languages. Is that a big thing? I'm like, no. Like,
good.
Like that. Yeah, I'm like, but now you know, if I write you a love letter, it's going to be more than me cooking food for you. And that's it. It's as simple as that. What about you? What is your love language? And have you preferred having somebody with a similar love language to you or not?
I would say my love language, well, I know my love language is physical touch. And then I don't think I would want my partner to have the same one as me. I think that would be really extreme. But I have a question also, like, so mine's physical touch first, and then it's like quality time. So say my partner is quality time. I kind of understand that because that's one of my leading languages. Yeah. So I could see, like, to be fully present with that person, to try to include them in things and be.
So yeah, that would make life easier, right? So like your romance will kind of just click a lot easier, because you would be spending time together and you'll turn everything else off and you'll just have that quality time, just you and him. And that would be good for you both. And I think, oh, that's such an amazing thing to have. But also, imagine if yours was touch and his was quality time. Him touching you and massaging you could be his quality time with you. And it can connect so well where he's happy and you're happy. But if it was both touch and he wants a massage and you want a massage, you might be like, come on, it's my turn now, right? Pass it back to me.
That's amazing. I love that.
Oh, man. So last time we spoke, Jen, I remember you saying that you were single at the time. And has anything updated? I know a
You
lot of
always put me on the spot, and I love you for it.
you're in that love seat now.
Oh, I would say I'm very interested in somebody.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So tell me, what makes you interested in him? Because I'm always curious to know, is he meeting your same needs? I know you're really growth focused. I know that's one of your top needs that you need to be met. Does he have similarities like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good.
You know, in the beginning, I felt like he's like very similar to me, like busy and very involved with the community and helpful. And I thought it was good because it develops, you have that understanding then of like,
Yeah.
I'm not ignoring you, or I'm not, I'm living my life and you're living your life, but we're able to come together and kind of share our wins at the end of the day,
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. And that actually really helps you understand each other's world, yeah, and appreciate each other's world, which is such a key thing. And, I always say this because when we're looking at true love, actually, let's go back to that. When we're looking for true love, I believe true love comes from having the same needs. Because now he's focused on growth and he's messaging you like, hey, what was your wins of today? Like, I know the feeling because my wife has this as well. She does it with me. I get juiced up inside to reply. Like, and this is 8 years later. Like, juiced up because the question and to communicate at a level of your need structure is one of the key things that you could do, because then now you're excited to talk because you're focused on growth. And he's like, tell me about your win. And you're like, oh, I spoke to this amazing guy, Sonny.
Yeah, exactly.
So you want to share that. But if he was connection driven, he's like, oh, so tell me about how much time did you spend with your family today? And you're like, hey? Like, yeah, I've been working on my business. Like,
yeah.
And there's a disconnect in communication as well because of that. And we find that all the time, a lot of the married couples, I would see like one significance driven and one certainty driven or connection driven. And they just don't know how to connect with each other in communication. Because I'm not like, hey babe, like what did you achieve today? What did you do? Like it's just like, it's more like, oh, what did you do to help someone today or focus on something? So there's a bit of a mismatch with that. So true love comes from meeting someone on your needs. And the way I teach it, Jen, I'm sure you teach it in a different way. I know you're in this amazing relationship space as well. I'm sure there's time for us to combine and work together at some point. The way I teach it is knowing that you're more than enough.
Oh, yeah. That's huge. Whew.
Yeah.
I literally say that every time I have a slight thought in my own personal head. Like, I'm more than enough. Like, why am I even thinking I'm not enough? Like, we're all more than enough.
Yes. And that's it. And by knowing that we're more than enough initially, it allows us to express who we want to be. So if I want to say to you like, hey, how's your business doing? Or like, how's things with that? Some people are scared to express that because they want to stay in a comfort of, I just want to communicate and get a reply. Like, how's your day? Well, how's your day is only going to excite somebody that's very like certain driven, that likes the same pattern of replies. But if you're looking for growth, you need to jazz that up. And I say that even in Tinder, in everything that you're doing, you need to jazz that up and really connect deep at the soul and be like, look, I'm growth driven. Tell me, what are you doing in 12 months? Like, how are you going to grow? Then when you tell me, I'm going to be like, oh, I like this girl.
It's amazing. So I wanted to add also how we bring in true love and love. And, I've been single for almost 3 years now. Oh my gosh. But I realized recently, like through all this growth and all of this time that I've spent, working on myself, it's like, I realized every single time I met like a substantial love in my life, it was when I was doing the work on myself and I was happy, and I was healthy and that always brought in these like great loves in my life. So I just wanted to add that part.
Oh, that's amazing. Can you share like maybe a couple of steps that you would say is a must to feel that joy for you? And like, I know for others it could be different, but what was it like? You said working on yourself, working out. Well, can you share?
I think for me, it was like focused on like my wellness, like my mental wellness, my, physical wellness. It started with getting my mind right. I wanted to make sure I was healthy in my mind, and then it turned into physical health, and then I think forgiveness would be the third one.
Oh, wow. Yes.
That
So
opened up my heart big time, forgiving myself for some things.
wow.
So that, I think that those are the keys for me personally.
I truly respect you and honor you for sharing that, because it's so true. And I think that's what a lot of people have to do. And the way you said that with forgiving yourself, a lot of people are easy to forgive others, but sometimes we've got to forgive ourselves for even not being kind to ourselves. Like when we have bad relationships, some people could beat themselves up along the journey, but you've got to forgive that it's a part of our life journey. It's about creating who we are today, right? It was a full moon yesterday, and I saw you. Yeah, the full moon. It's so incredible because it's about letting go.
Oh,
About
yeah.
letting go of some of them old beliefs.
I was actually a naughty girl, and I was up till 3 a.m, just writing, my goals, how I could accomplish them, and just like things that I set last full moon that I didn't accomplish, and maybe why. So I just love this, that energy and that intention, and that we actually get 2 full moons this month. The next one's on Halloween.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
It's the first time in like a bunch of years that's going to happen. So I'm excited.
I was actually naughty as well. I was up to like 4 a.m. yesterday, visualizing. So it's so interesting. And I was like,
wow.
Session before, and I was like, guys, it's a full moon. Time to focus and visualize your partner.
Yeah.
More of them old beliefs, so, men are all X and women are all what. Then those beliefs we have to let go of to really stop coming into it, to allow ourselves to love, to true love, right?
Absolutely.
I hope that answers the question for your
Definitely.
guest.
So we have another question live. This is from Justin, and it's a statement. With faithfulness and loyalty as one's main intent, in my opinion. So that was based on how do we find true love. Beautiful. I just want to acknowledge everybody here. Thank you for watching. My first response was in regards to your header question. Y'all have a good morning. Thank you so much. You as well.
Thank you, Justin. As you can see with Justin's top needs, he prioritizes loyalty, and you can probably ask any of his friends and his partner, if he's got a partner right now, and they would always say how much of an incredible person he is and how loyal to the T. He will always be there to support them. And that's what I mean about when we reach out with communication and open up who we are, to be like, look, tell me about your friends that you've had for a long time. And when you're like, oh, I've had friends for 15, 20 years, you kind of know that this person is loyal and they meet your same goal. And
I think that's my I'm not saying I'm loyal, that's my number one quality, but when I ask my closest friends, for 15, 20 years, that's every single person says the same thing. And I'm curious to because you know how like words mean things to different people?
Yeah.
Like I'm curious, like what does loyalty mean to you?
Oh, that's such a good question. Because loyalty to me is different, yeah? Because loyalty to me is to support me and always have my back. But only in the hard times. Only when I need it the most. Like support me like normally, I'm okay with that. I don't need that continuous support. That loyalty. Like I don't need it every day. If my wife's doing her own thing, I'm okay with that. I'm like, oh, I love that. Yeah. If you disagree with something I say, I don't mind. Yeah. But being loyal in public is actually one of the key things for me as well. So if we were discussing something in public, and this I see come up a lot with relationships, and especially we're not talking about good relationships. We're talking about relationships where they have the problems, because that's when the key difference is. And when I'm working with the managers, it's like sometimes one will out the other in front of people. And when we do that, it's a break of loyalty to a lot of people, because it's like you're disrespecting me in front of my people. And when we looked at Jada and Will Smith recently, I did a little breakdown on this because I was fascinated to see how although that the incident happened a few years ago, why was Will Smith so hurt in that interview? And it was evident because you see it in his eyes, you see it in who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And this incident happened so many years ago, and they said that they got over it, and that was true. I believe that. But when you're outed in front of public, it's like it breaks your loyalty. For me, it breaks that trust. We're not dealing with things together. It's come out in front of everyone. And now you got your friends, and you have like 50 Cent and people like that messaging him like, "Yo, bro, what's going on?" Like, and then it hurts your aura because who you're protecting, and he still loves this woman inside the relationship so deep. But when everyone else starts talking about it, you're like, "Oh, why would it get to this level?" So that to me is a part of loyalty. How about you?
I would say the same. I love how you said, loyal to the person through hard times.
Yes.
Because, that's, for me, I think loyalty is more, I don't know, honestly. I guess it's hard for me to say. It's funny. That's what seems to come up for everyone to say about me. But for me to define it, it's kind of hard. Yeah.
And what would be disloyal then? That might be an easier way to understand.
I guess I would say to be disloyal is to like not show up for the person, if they really need you. Yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. So then when we have that, that's the flip on it.
Beautiful. So I wanted to touch the next topic. How do we beat the dry COVID patch? So as we all know, we're all kind of in this weird place right now where we're stuck at home. Some of us are stuck at home. The dating scene, it's like, am I going to get sick? Or some people just feel like they might need to cling on to a relationship just for companionship. And what do you feel about this topic?
Oh man, this is such a crucial topic right now. It's such a big thing. But it actually reminds me of 8 years ago. Yeah, before I met my wife. This wasn't a COVID patch, but it was a dry patch for me. Like, I was actually going through a hard time. And
I'm not laughing at that.
You're laughing at me there, yeah? I was struggling. Like, I couldn't connect. I couldn't meet girls. And you know what? I wanted it. I wanted it really badly at that point. Even out COVID, I know. But I was just desperate for a relationship. And when I became this person that really, because I was living to like some Indian culture and all that kind of thing. And I was like, whoa, I should perhaps be married. I should be in some long-term relationship now. What am I doing? Like, am I let down to myself? What's happening? So then I got a bit desperate and I was like, oh, I just want to find anyone. So then I started even messaging my exes. And I know that's a no-go because they were ex for a reason, right? But when I was in that place, I didn't know what I was doing. The girls that I was meeting, they wasn't showing up with how I wanted them to be. I was actually repelling them away. I was pushing them away. And the part that changed it all for me was when I worked on myself. So quite like how you said earlier on, when I worked on who I was and I picked up this book, Awaken the Giant Within, I started reading that, and then another book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And it brought it back to me. It brought back who I was. Then I did some coaching and got coached, got mentored. And I just became this person that was strong again, that was vibrating at my highest value. It wasn't someone different. It was just me inside of me. I brought that guy out. And funny enough, I was walking in the canteen and I met my wife. And because I became that person, I was able to connect. I was able to think better, focus better. I was able to show her that side of me, which attracted the woman that I 8 years now. So it attracted that woman. I think that's the same philosophy for me over this period of COVID. It's if you're really running out there thinking, I need a relationship to make myself feel better. I need a relationship to have somebody because I'm feeling lonely. Or now's the time that you connect deeper with your soul, connect deeper with who you are. And when we connect with who we are and start working on ourselves, give ourselves some self-love, start noticing who we are, then we start building that back up. Jenny, do you have any exercises that some of the viewers or something like that can do right now, or like maybe do this evening to start building themselves back up?
Oh, definitely. I just wanted to add, I feel like when we're doing all that work and then we meet somebody to compliment us or however you want to say it, it's almost like you're at like a good place, but then the person just like elevates you more.
Yeah.
It's like a plus, you know? And I feel like when we don't rely on the person for happiness, when we don't rely on the person for our happiness, it's always a plus or a growth.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to add that. And I guess self-care, my tips and tools would be, I read a lot. I also meditate a lot. I feel like if there's something that like every day, this is one that changed my life. Every day for the past 3 years straight, I've been doing guided meditations.
Mm.
And a lot of times it's like, if I feel like short on something or, I address it. I'm like, wow, I didn't feel confident today, say, like that was my New Year's resolution, confidence.
Nice.
But if I don't feel confident, say today, I would reflect on that and dissect that and maybe do a guided meditation on that.
Yeah.
So that's
Starting that day with that intention. I love that. Yes.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest tools, I would say. But there's so many. I mean,
and you're right. When we're not stepping into who we are at our highest version, we're there, and then sometimes we're looking for somebody to fill us back up, right? And when that happens in the short term, it works, right? It does, because you feel better. But this is where I find a lot of clients and a lot of people find narcissist partners. Because, look, let's just imagine that you're there at one point and you're looking for support for somebody to bring you back up. And I do that. But ultimately, I feel good by doing that. So I'm like, I'm here to support you. I'm making you feel better. You're happy. Yes, I feel good. But then what happens when we're both at a good level? I don't feel good anymore. I don't feel needed. So what I need to do is knock you back down. So then I can raise you back up. And when we do it like that, it becomes a cycle. And, I don't judge. I don't blame anyone. But I could just understand the patterns of the brain. And when you feel so needed, it's like an addiction. So when you bring somebody back up to that and now you're not feeling needed by that person, you think, oh, I want you to need me. So let me find a way to knock you back down so then I can feel that love and neededness again. And it relies a little bit on that codependency that you're doing. So when we do that and we're not coming from a place that we're full, then it becomes an awkward relationship. Some of them not like that, but most of them that I see have this kind of up and down because it's necessary.
And I'm really excited to talk to you about codependency. And, it's something that I've actually had to work through personally. And, my mom always said to me from when I was a kid, don't ever, what did she say? You never want to need a man, like you never want to have to need him. Like you want to have him. And I feel, and that's something that she always told me as like a young girl. And, codependency, I think, stems a lot from our childhood. Sometimes, if you grow up with an alcoholic parent or, where, even for me, like my last relationship, I was with somebody for 8 years and I realized I grew a lot within that. And I felt like I always had to my whole life was revolved around him and like what he wanted and what he liked. And, I kind of lost myself in that. So can you talk a little bit more about maybe some of those attachment styles? I know we have a little bit of a difference of views on this.
I actually love how, thank you for opening up as well, because you're right. It leads to this. And I don't know, you middle child, eldest, youngest?
I'm middle. How'd you know?
It generally comes up with the middle child, right? To have that codependency a little bit more, all right, which is fine. And it happens in a lot of patterns, right? So you're right. I look at it in a different way. Well, a same way, but I just brand it a little bit different. But I agree with everything you're saying there. So I believe there's 3 attachment styles, which is one that's secure, there's an anxious, and there's an avoidant. And this is a work done from Dr. Amar Levan, and he wrote a book called Attached. It's such a good book. So anyone that wants to read it, it's not my work, but this guy's work is incredible to break it down. When we look at that, he looks at, we have a secure attachment style, which means that we're filled of love, that we have a lot of love within us. So like maybe two parents, a lot of security, they've always been the priority, and they just feel love. They've never had a big emotional trauma to stop that love. Then there's another attachment style of being anxious. And with the anxious attachment style, it's like we feel in a way that we're not worthy of their love. Because when we're young children and we're not getting the love that we want, we have a mentality where we go, I want love. Am I not getting love because I'm not worthy of it? So we think, oh, I must not be worthy, because everything comes from a place of I am, I want. This could also happen later on in life with a emotional trauma where they might have left you or hurt you, and then you think, I'm not worthy of their love either. Then the third attachment style is the avoidance. And this normally happens when a family member abandons them when we're young, or a ex might abandon you. And then you feel that you're not good enough. And now we put up this wall, a big wall of, I was going to say wall of China, but no, this big wall that we put up in front of everyone. And it's hard for us to let them in. And we focus on other vehicles like work and other things to help us get to where we want to get to. This
there.
And then we're saying, I don't want to let you in. And generally, so people that know which attachment style they are, that's a good question where I go, when you go on first dates, do you normally find the bad in the person? Or do you normally like the person and then kind of like them too much and they run away? Because when we find the bad in the person, it's our brain saying that we're moving you away from the pain and moving you towards pleasure. And then we have to break that pattern. Because no matter what, you're always going to go on a date and find the bad. And then you're going to go, okay, I'm comfortable with this person being in this kind of, I'm comfortable with being bad and good. So I'm okay that you're not going to hurt me. And a lot of people will find partners that are not suited for them because they know that they can't hurt them. I know if you're already married or something like that, you can't hurt me. So then I get in this relationship because it's a safety play.
Interesting. Wow, that's a great point. And can we talk a little bit on how like attachment styles, some of the blocks maybe that single people have from these attachment styles, and maybe a little bit more where they come from?
Yeah, good. So one of my clients, actually, she's 52 years old, a beautiful soul. When I jump on a call with her, I see her intention, I see who she is, I see her strength, right? We went back into what happened in the past. She goes, look, Sonny, my parents were fine. They were amazing, great people. I was like, okay, fantastic. I went, okay, well, tell me about some times in your life where something may have happened where you thought you wasn't good enough. And she found a time where she was left at a supermarket by herself for a few hours as a young kid, and she was crying. And in that moment, she formed a belief that she goes, I'm not good enough. That's why they left me. And then most importantly, the second belief that she formed was, I don't want love. I don't need your love to be happy. So from there, she became strong. She became this warrior, as Tony talks about. We become a warrior. We become strong in who we are. And sometimes we step into that masculine. So we stop people coming into us, stop them hurting us. And with her, it's now been quite a few years in her life, and she's not been in a long-term relationship. You know? Because her brain told her, look, I don't want love, because love equaled pain. And then she thought, I'm not good enough deep down inside. And then these were the blocks that come up. These are like the walls that she puts between dates. So she'll go on a date and she'll be like, feels all right, but it's a bit like this. They're like this. And then when we project that energy, the partner moves away as well. So then they feel the energy that, oh, she's not really giving it, and that's because that one time when she went to a supermarket.
That's amazing. And, that's a great point, because I did a program a couple of months ago with Anil Gupta. And, I realized through that program, like how a lot of the things that hold us back, and I really, through Tony's work too, I've noticed that like people really still hold on a lot to those things that happened when they were children.
Yeah.
And I think in the growth space, we see it more. And like, but I'm still amazed, like how much that stuff affects us.
Well, it's kind of because our brain is like sponges from the age of 1 to 7.
Mhm.
So what happens over that period is a lot more deeper, because that's why we learn so fast, because we're just a sponge at that point. So if any traumas happen at that point, it leaves a memory.
And that's
That's why
subconscious, right? Our subconscious mind's like wide open
yeah,
during that
it's
time.
wide open. So it's only until we're later on in life that we form a analytical brain. That's why everyone says kids are so honest. I got a niece, and she always looks at me, and COVID's been bad for me. So she'll come up to me and go, "Tommy, big," and I'm like, "Oh my god!" but it's because they're so honest, because they don't have that analytical brain. So it means that they don't stop some things coming in. Logically, we could look at that same situation of being left in a shopping center and go, "Look, it happened." But when we're a child, we can't actually say it happened for anything. And then we actually just think this is a new belief. So that's why they all come up. And that's why Tony's work's amazing as well, because we do forgiveness, like you said.
Beautiful.
Like, when you go into forgiveness, we're able to release that memory and understand it.
My next question is, so what if people don't even realize what's blocking them, or maybe some of those, does everything lead back to I'm not enough? Like a moment when they felt like they weren't enough, that they don't deserve this love? Or is it?
So we're talking about in terms of the attachment style, right? Yeah, so the secure, the anxious, and the avoidant. So if you become quite anxious, yeah, and a pattern that you might pick up on, my wife, when we first met, she was anxious. So when we first got together, luckily I was secure, all right? I had love for my brother, my mom. I just felt an abundance of love, and I just felt okay with it, yeah. My wife was actually anxious. So if I would disagree a point with her, she would say stuff like, "You know what, Sonny, you just don't get me. Maybe we should end it," right? I'm like, "What you want about? We'll end it." I was like, "No, it's fine. I love you. It's okay." Like, I just didn't get what you were saying. But for her, that was a seek of approval and reassurance. Like, she had to say, "I need to get out of this." And we form ways to push away from it. So if we're anxious attachment style, we might even pretend that someone's messaging us. Or maybe not pretend, actually point it out and be like, "Oh, this guy's messaging, or this girl's talking to me." It's deep down inside, we don't think that we're worthy or deserve the love, right? That's where it normally stems down to. There are other things where it goes down to that. And with the abandon, he's actually going to go to you, "Forget this," or she's going to go, "I don't want this pain." And one moment where they're in pain in the relationship, they'll stop talking to you. And the avoidant attachment style, what they do is they'll stack all the negatives. So say those two are getting on, and I feel like the relationship's going amazing, Jen. Everything's really smooth, really good. But obviously my dad's left me when I was young, and I was abandoned, and I felt that pain still, and it's a part of my subconscious. Now we have an argument, and you move away from me massively. Like for 3 days, you stop talking to me. I now repeat the same pattern from my father. I now go, "You know what? I know how to deal with this kind of pain. I'm going to block you out." And this is how the avoidant attachment style deals with relationships. So when you move away, I'm going to move you away, but permanently. I'm going to stack every single thing that was bad, because that's how my brain copes, how it protects me from the pain. So I'd be like, she was like this, that, the other. Where the anxious one will actually start messaging more. Like, "Look, give me that reassurance."
I have a question, because I see this a lot, and I talk to a lot of women in this space, and I see both sides of it. But can you give me a little insight on, is there like a attachment style that's more feminine or masculine? Is that something, or is it just everybody's kind of in the same?
I think generally it's like 50% of the population is secure. This is a statistics in the book attached. And 25% of them are avoidant, 25% is anxious. I do generally see that females tend to be more anxious and the males more avoidant, just their coping mechanism. But also, this isn't like a male or female thing, because some people cope in a different way, and they think, if I just cut it off. Because then we also get an avoidant anxious, right? So they go through a little bit of pain, and then they will start messaging 3-4 times, like, babe, I'm sorry, babe, look, I want to make it up to you. And then they try again, they'll send a long message to you, like, look, it was a mistake, I didn't mean to miss our date or whatever. Then you've not replied 3 times. Now I've blocked you out. So we also get an avoidant anxious, and then they cope through that way. So I believe males tend to be more like that, but this is actually just guessing. So don't take my word for this.
Okay.
But females do reassurance all the time. All right, guys, we know that one.
And I wanted to ask you, I can't wait to have you and your wife on one of my shows. And, you know, this is something that I'm looking forward to highlighting, happy couples. Can you give me like one good words of wisdom coming from somebody who's been in a healthy, happy relationship for 8 years now that you could share with the audience?
Oh, I love that. Thank you. Yeah, and I look forward to being on your show. Me and my wife that's going to be an amazing show as well. Interviewing couples and understanding their patterns. And that's going to add so much value to so many people. So I can't wait to be on that. Yeah. Well, we have a belief system. And that belief system is we'll work it out no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And that belief system's actually favored us so much because relationships are work. And even over COVID, we had a few arguments. Everything, we're going to argue, yeah? It comes. But having a belief system that no matter what, we're going to work it out gives us the opportunity and the freedom that we can actually communicate. We can work at it. Just the other day, actually, I'm going to be really vulnerable and open with everyone here. Well, my wife got really stressed out at work. I'm a masculine guy, yeah? I love to be masculine. I'm in my masculine. I'm also in my feminine sometimes, all right? So I got a bit of both. But my wife got really stressed out at work. And she swapped into her masculine. She's very feminine at her core. So she went into her masculine. And it lasted about 2 weeks, this stress did. And it was a breakdown because I'm masculine, she's in her masculine, was button heads. It was so painful. And I was just keep on trying to do all these things. I advise this on a day-to-day basis, how we break out of our patterns, our sexual energies. But it was so hard to be in. Like, the polarity, the sexual chemistry went. Like, I was like, what is going on? Like, normally I'm holding you, grabbing you. I'm like, I don't even want to touch you right now. Like, I need to go my separate way. I was like telling her consciously, but we wasn't breaking the pattern truthfully because her work was still stressing her out.
Mm-hmm.
So then what I had to do was actually look at myself and start changing what I do. And then I had to go buy some like lingerie and stuff like that and just be like, you know what, here, like, let's get things going, all right? Here's a bottle of day and let's break that pattern. We're having an evening off and we're not talking about nothing work related. But before that, I kept asking. I was like, I want her to be like this. I want her to be like that. And then I had to just take the action myself to change the pattern. And
that's a huge. Is to what can I do to better this situation?
Yes.
You know, and sometimes, you know, in relationships, people have this like standoff.
Yeah.
But it's like, who is that serving? Like, I just remembered a few times, like, that surrender sometimes, or just being like, you know, like dropping back into the feminine. Oh, ladies, it always works. Right?
Right. It always works.
It always works.
We're like, ooh, back to the freedom, back to the fun of it.
But this is like a huge thing, especially now. We always talk about how a lot of women, you know, especially, you know, stepping up in the business world and, you know, having, like, even me, like, for just trying to take care of myself or doing things that, you know, it's like, I have to be strong. I have to do all these things. And it's like, it's so important to be, you know, in that feminine.
And then I guess the question comes now, Jen, it's like, it's easy for us to say, oh, get into your feminine, get into your masculine. But the easiest way to do it, and this is a tip for anyone that's thinking that, like, how do I get back into my feminine? Like, you know, just put makeup on. That is one of the key tools, actually, putting makeup on. But actually, to get back into your feminine is go hang around with that core feminine energy.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, go meet them girlfriends that you're with and have a little bit of that fun, like, where it doesn't matter. Have that little conversation and just be free flowing.
That feminine flow. Yeah.
And then masculine, the same. Like, guys, just actually go and do guy things, like go hang out with your guy mates and have a guy conversation. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's actually the best way to get back into who you are, to get back into that core energy. Because when we spend so much time together, we do mold into a similar energy field, because that's how we get on. But we need to get back into who we are at our core. Also, Jen, I wanted to invite you and some of the people in your audience as well. What I'm going to be doing in the next few weeks is a virtual speed dating, right?
Ooh.
And I know you're taking now, but I would love it if you jumped on for fun or whatever.
I love to learn. Like I go on a ton of stuff because I always learn massively through that connection with people and just bonding with people. I'm always down, so I'm 100% in.
That's amazing. So yeah, it's going to be completely free, but that doesn't mean don't turn up. It means it's actually free, but adding value there. But what we're going to be doing is actually having a little bit of a breakdown, a little bit of a coaching session just before, so that we kind of understand some triggers, some patterns, some better questions. So then when you jump on these virtual speed dates, I'm going to get the people asking better questions to connect with how they want to connect. So now you connect with a long-term partner rather than just, hey, I like podcasts. Do you do podcasts?
Can you give me an example? I'm dying to know. I don't know if I can wait this long.
Oh no, we have to wait because that's the part of the door. Because this is how we're going to connect on that deeper level. We're going to meet some partners that we want.
All right, we have another question. We have so many nice comments. Thank you, Rosie. Thank you. Hey, Sheila and Hassan. Jennifer Dalton, how do I find the right person to be with in a relationship without wasting time being in one and later knowing that this is not the right person to be with? Ooh. So I guess my answer would be, how do I find the right person to be with without wasting time being in one and later? I think honestly, you're not going to know till you don't know. But I feel like, I don't know. I feel like personally, I know when the person's gonna, it's more of a feeling. It's kind of hard to explain. But the right person, I think, in my opinion, would be somebody that makes you feel good. Somebody that you could build something with. I think it's personal to everybody, but I think a tool that I could suggest to you is writing down maybe 10 qualities in a partner that means a lot to you. Things, and don't put any negative things on there. I think that's a really helpful tool. What do you think, Sunny?
Oh, I think that was so helpful. Hassan, what I'll do is, if you just adding on to what you said there, which I think is such a great tool, write down the things that she must not be, right?
Really?
Say, your partner from hell. Because sometimes it's clearer and easier to get clear on what we don't want rather than what we want. And then the second part of it is write down what you do want now. And, some of these are going to be the opposite. And then you get clear on the qualities that you want for that long-term relationship. But a third piece would be get clear on who you need to be to attract that partner. Because once you get clear on that, that's actually when you're going to attract that partner. You can't ask for a queen, but then you're playing as a joker. I'm not saying that about you, but I know I was at that stage at one point in my life where I was having a lot of fun and laughing around, but I wanted a queen to step into my life. I wasn't ready to attract that queen.
Have you read The Queen's Code?
Oh, I haven't actually.
Okay. Yeah, I want to dive into that. I would love to dive into that a little deeper.
I read her other one, Keys to the Kingdom.
How is that?
That's amazing. You need to read that. It talks about how actually males go through that process, and I think it crosses a bit. So it talks about the queen and how we need to get to our stage as a king. So when a male goes through his prince stage, so when we first start, we start in a night, they say. And the night's like when we're out partying and we're just finding ourselves and we're enjoying, we're kind of dating like maybe at a university stage or college stage in America. And then we become princes. The junior prince is the guy that's focused on work. And then we go all the way up. Oh, I'm glad that helped Hassan. And then we go into the king stage. That's when we're building that castle. We have the castle for the queen. Tell me about the Queen's Code.
No, I just love that example. I still haven't dived completely into Queen's Code, but I just know, like, you know, you want to step into that queen to find your king as well. Yeah. And I would love to dive deeper into that in the mastermind as well, because that's something I'm definitely have set intention for.
Definitely hook it up. We'll do a book review.
Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to highlight another topic, because I feel like, especially right now, there's a lot of people out there who have long distance relationships, and it's kind of like I don't know, do you have any advice or anything, key points that you have regarding this? Maybe some clients that you've learned some stuff from?
I think, okay, but I'm going to leave this question mainly to you.
No.
All right? So I can't wait for you to share on this. But I guess a little bit would be just to keep it spiced up. Because when it's long distance, it's harder to have that activity of meeting all the time and connecting all the time, truly. So you've got to spice it up. You've got to have a different day. Like, one day I'm going to be a bit funny. One day I'm going to be romantic. One day let's talk about the growth of the actual relationship. So then when we spice it up, it adds something new to it, because we're not meeting all the time. It allows us to still keep it exciting. But I don't have the experience right now in this. I want to find out a little bit about you. Have you got any experience in long distance relationships, and what are your tips?
My tips would be definitely to be, aw, Sheila, I love you. My advice would be to be understanding, to grow, like, match your partner. Like, I know as females, like for me, I always try to match the man's energy. I don't know if that's something you're familiar with or agree with.
Yeah, maybe a matching kind of thing.
Or... Yeah, like if he's, you know, distant, I'll be not distant, but, you know, like if he needs time, cool. Okay. You know, if he's excited, cool. I also think that it's important to check in with them and just to appreciate them, the time that they do give you. And you can have quality time, you know, being in a long distance relationship.
Is it more like Zoom, or are you doing like online dates or FaceTime?
Yeah, so you could watch movies together. You could, I love that, you know, talk about that.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's so fun. You could do a lot of things, you know, but the movie thing is cool. I like that.
You would do a movie and I'll play it at the same time?
And yeah, you stream it and then you both watch it together.
That's so cool. Such good.
I also think that, I don't know, I guess that's my first long distance relationship. So I'm just going with it.
Yeah. Some of my clients, you know what, I think one of the key things that you mentioned there was being patient, you know, understanding and appreciating your partner. I think that's so key, because when you actually appreciate and understand your partner, you understand that this circumstance doesn't make you. Yeah. And when you build the foundations of appreciating each other, when you spend that time together, it's going to be more important, because you're doing completely different things. But now you just honor each other's time. I think that's so beautiful, because many people live in a long-term and long-distance relationships, but at home, you know, you're doing one thing and I'm doing another thing, and I'm emotionally disconnected from who you are. And everyone's living their 9 to 5. They're doing this, or they're doing their own jobs, and they're own busy. This is why COVID was such a problem, because now relationships are at home, but they've never been at home before. Yeah. So now you understand that with the distance, it's long distance. But a lot of relationships don't connect deeply anyway. So when you spend that time together and you quality time together and you deeply connect, that's when it doesn't matter if it's long distance or not. And it's the same. People are like 7 days a week. They're working 1 day of date night. Like, if you're doing that 1 day of date night as well, then it's similar to that. And it's a formula to do it. Oh, Sheila messaged.
Yeah, and
you need to go.
I just want to add one more thing. I have to go I have a few minutes.
Okay.
To that, I lost my train of thought. So, sorry. Okay, I forgot what I was gonna say.
About the long distance or quality time at home.
Oh, I would wanted to say, like, I feel like it's a good tool for me right now, especially like I really get to know the person. Because like especially in this like hookup culture and generations, like that's not happening, obviously. So it's like I feel like there's more time to be able to like really get to know somebody without jumping like into bed with them, I guess you could say, in enough words.
I actually really like that because you're working on something so much more deeper there. I think that's very cool. Let's quickly get Sheila's question. So, what are the characteristics of a man that is emotionally unavailable? I'll let you lead on that, and then I'll think of the answer.
Okay, so Sheila, I want to talk about this characteristics of a man that's emotionally unavailable. I would say a lot of times the one that comes to my mind is is he still holding on to maybe part of his past in relationships? Is he maybe not ready for a relationship or something's, I would say really a reflection of being emotionally unavailable is either he might just not be that into you, or he's holding on to something in his past and he's not ready to move forward with anybody else. What would you say, Sunny?
Yeah, that was really good points there. It's one of them questions that you need to dig deeper to find out about what's going on with the guy. But it could be a couple of patterns. His father could be unavailable, yeah? And it might not be no disrespect to you, Sheila. It could be it's a pattern and a model behavior from his father that was an alpha, that was quiet. I'll just quickly clarify this information. So like the hunters and gatherers, right? If you mean emotionally unavailable because he's not communicating, when we were hunters, we'll go out into the field and we'll have our spear. But for a male, if we were to talk or to communicate, the animals will run away, the prey will run. But with the females, when they went out gathering, if they would go silently, they'll put their hand in a tree and they'll be bit. Something will get them. So they had to talk and communicate so that the animals and the insects around them will move away. So it would create space so that they knew when they would gather the berries, nothing will come out and get them. So that's why females naturally communicate more, because they share that, because they feel whenever they're nervous, they want to talk more to open up a space so that they know, hey, I'm here. If any dangers around, please recognize. But what I would say, Sheila, is I want you to really take a step to appreciate him. So build him up internally before you go like, hey, tell me about why aren't we connecting on a deep level? Instead, be like, look, I appreciate how you're a man and how masculine you are, but I would really like it if we could have a deep conversation or something like that. And then when we build ourselves up first, and then we can ask, it comes from a better place. Because if you just go to him, I wish you could talk more, then he would just like shut up. He would get defensive. Nah.
And I just want to add like the 3 C's, because that's like my staple. Like I just always think about that, like a man never wants to be criticized. So, you always want to admire and appreciate, and a man never wants to feel controlled, right? So you want to give that freedom and love. And I'm forgetting the other one.
It's, the last one is actually one of the most important. It's closed personalities, right?
Oh, closed, open and playful.
Yeah. So when we actually have that closeness, it's suffocating for the guy. But you're so right. That's so important to know.
Can you explain that one? Because maybe I forgot it because I don't understand it. Is it you want to give them the freedom to open, like help them open up? Is that?
Oh, let's just play a scenario real quick. Yeah. So me and you, we're partners. And like you have great feminine energy naturally, right? And you're very open and you're very talkative. That's how your flow is. And I'm used to that because when I that's but that's how your open flow is, and it's beautiful. And I come back from work and I've been working all day and I'm really stressed out and I got a lot on my brain. This is why a lot of guys move to like beer, football, because it's
go to the cave.
Yeah. It lets go of the freedom of it, yeah. But it's the same with the feminine energy. When I step into you and you're there and you're talking about whatever that is, and it's this open flow of energy, and it's like, oh, this happened and then that happened, but I don't really have to listen because it don't really matter. With no disrespect. I just feel that freedom as well. I feel like you're not stressing me out. You're just talking about this and that, and it's so open and free flowing. That's nice. But then when I get back and I'm in your energy and you're short and I'm like, how's your day? You're like, good. I'm like, what? What do you mean? You're like, it's good. It's a block, right? And now my brain's thinking again back at work, back on the stressful things that I've been dealing with all day. I focus back on that. So now I'm like, oh, so what else is happening? Nothing. Like, what?
Oh, that's
hard for me to do.
That's tough.
You feel that tension, right?
Yeah.
And then male normally is like that, right? A male's like that, but that's why polarity comes in. The female has that openness. The guy can be a bit shorter because we're listening. So then we're like, you know what? Forget this. I'm going to go to the pub and I'm going to, I don't know what you call it there, but we're going to go watch some football and it's going to distract my brain. I'm going to have that freedom. And now I come back home and I ask you a question and you're short again, compared to when you're like, oh my God, I did this. I went to the shop and I saw this and I saw that. I'm like, oh, nice. Oh, wow.
Refreshing.
Yeah, so refreshing. That's exactly it. So that's where the open and closed personality comes in so much.
And I just wanted to end, I have to catch a flight. I just wanted to, I feel like sometimes we focus on like what the guy wants or the girl wants. I just want to give the opportunity for the guys out there to understand what's important to women. And maybe we could talk about the 3 C's for women. We want to be seen. We want to be safe. What's the other one? Seen, safe. Do you remember him?
Want to be heard.
Heard. Okay. Yeah. So we want to get that reassurance.
Just real quick, if some ladies are actually on your comments right now, and any ladies on mine, I want you to just write it down, and guys as well. Guys, because what you raised was such a good point about feeling safe, right? And sometimes the male misses it.
That's like my favorite. Oh my God. When I feel safe with a guy, whew, watch out, boys.
And that's great thing, right? Because you can step into your feminine then. You're allowed. So, for a guy though, the last time that we felt unsafe would have been, I don't know, for me, I've not felt unsafe in like 3-4 months. Any guys out there that have felt unsafe, like, that's fine, it's not a problem. Like, if you felt unsafe in the last 4 weeks or 2 weeks, just comment below. But when we ask a female, like I want to ask you, Jen, and any females that are commenting below, when was the last time you felt unsafe? Was it last 3 weeks?
I remember I've tried to go for at least 1 or 2 walks a day, and I went really late one night because my day ended later. And I walked past this like sump and I was petrified. And then even like the car, and this is actually yesterday, even, I don't know, it's like a weird thing. Like I'm always like a little bit on edge because sometimes somebody will drive slow, like approaching you and you're like, what the, every day.
Every day. And guys that are watching, like, we got to recognize that. It doesn't mean that we go fight everyone. It means that we protect them with like, that they know that we're there for them, that we're there to look after them if anything happens, And it's true because for me, walking down the street is not a problem, but for you, a good looking, attractive woman, it's a different mind. It's a different game, So I understand that. And I think that's a key thing for guys to understand. And it's such a good point that you raised it.
Thank you. Oh my God, I could talk to you for hours. I just want to thank you so much again for this time and this insight. And I think we have one more question. LDR, we're staying or keeping? What's LDR?
Yeah.
Sheila, can you?
Long-distance relationship.
Oh.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm new to this, but I would say it's worth staying if they're meeting your needs, if you're happy. I think that's every relationship. I mean, I'm not saying flee the relationship if you're not happy, but I'm not saying not to either, right?
Yeah, you're right. You know, if you're unhappy in a long distance or short distance, man, you got to put your needs first. You know, depending how long it's worth for. Sheila, if it's your soulmate or if it's a deep, deep connection, only you know the answer. And I invite you to actually go deep into yourself and ask yourself that question, maybe this evening or something, and find out, is it worth keeping or staying? But even just asking the question, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? If we have to ask the question, sometimes maybe you already got your answer, right?
Yes, I think that's might have been the thing there, Sheila.
Beautiful.
All right, thank you so much, Jenny. Jenny from the Love Seat. Yeah.
Bobby Sunny, you always get those you always get my vulnerability and get me to open up and grow more. So I just want to thank you for everything.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here. Honor to be talking to you. You know, adding so much value to everyone.
Beautiful. Thank you for everything, and it was great to collaborate with you, and I can't wait to collaborate in the future and get you and your wife on and
the virtual dating, all right? The virtual speed dating.
definitely let me know.
All right, good.
All right, guys, have a great day. I love you all so much. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Ciao.